Hello everyone. I am Victor Berg.
And my name is Anton Sponomarios, and today we are going to be sharing the great findings of our experiment, Bergs and Ponomarios et al.
Yes, we're going to talk about the illusory correlation. So let's start off with a little of an example. So human beings have been blaming strange behavior on the full moon for centuries. In the Middle Ages, for example, people claimed that a full moon could turn humans into werewolves. In the 1700s, it was common to believe that a full moon could cause epilepsy and feverish temperatures. We even changed our language to match our beliefs. The word lunatic comes from the Latin root luna, which means moon. Today, we have mostly come to our senses. While we no longer blame sickness and disease on the face of the moon, you will hear people use it as an actual explanation for crazy behavior. For example, a common story in medical circus is that during a chaotic evening at the hospital, one of the nurses will often say, "Must be a full moon tonight." There is little evidence that a full moon can actually impact our behaviors. A complete analysis of more than 30 peer-reviewed studies found no correlation between full moon and hospital admissions, casino payouts, suicides, traffic accidents, crime rates, and many other common events. But here's the interesting thing. Even though the research says otherwise, a study revealed that 7 out of 10 nurses still believed that a full moon led to more chaos and patients that night. So, what's going on here? The nurses who swear that a full moon causes strange behavior aren't stupid. They are simply falling victim to a common mental error that plagues all of us. Psychologists refer to this little brain mistake as an illusory correlation. And today, my friend Anton is going to explain how it works.
I would like to talk a little bit about how we fool ourselves without realizing. An illusionary correlation happens when we are mistakenly overemphasizing one outcome and ignore the others. For example, let's say you visit New York City and someone cuts you off as you're boarding the subway train. Then you go to a restaurant and the waiter is rude to you. Finally, you ask someone on the street for directions and they blow you off. When you think back on your trip to New York, it's easy to remember those experiences and conclude that people from New York are rude, or people in big cities are rude. However, if you're forgetting about all of the meals you ate when the waiter acted perfectly normal, or the hundreds of people you passed on the subway platform who didn't cut you off or weren't rude to you. These were literally non-events because nothing notable happened. As a result, it's easier to remember the times someone acted rudely towards you than the times when you dined happily or took the subway in peace. Here's where the brain science comes into play. Hundreds of psychology studies have proven that we tend to overestimate the importance of events we can easily recall and underestimate the importance of events we have trouble recalling. The easier it is to remember, the more likely we are able to create a stronger relationship between two things that are weakly related or not related at all. This is called illusionary correlation.
Thank you, Anton, for your great explanation. So, how to spot an illusory correlation? There's a simple strategy you can use to spot your hidden assumptions and prevent yourself from making an illusory correlation. It's called a contingency table, and it forces you to recognize the non events that are easy to ignore in daily life. Let's break down the possibilities for having a full moon and a crazy night of hospital admissions. So you can see this contingency table on your screen right now, and you can see there are four cells, A, B, C, and D. So cell A means there's a full moon and a busy night. This is a very memorable combination and is overemphasized in our memory because it is easy to recall. Cell B means there's a full moon but nothing happens. This is a non-event and is underemphasized in our memory because nothing really happened. It is hard to remember something not happening and we tend to ignore this cell. Cell C, no full moon, but it's a busy night. This is easy to dismiss as a crazy day at work. Cell D means no full moon and a normal night. Nothing memorable happens and on either end, so these events are easy to ignore as well. This contingency table helps reveal what is happening inside the minds of nurses during a full moon. The nurses quickly remember the one time when there was a full moon and the hospital was overflowing, but simply forget the many times there was a full moon and the patient load was normal. Because they can easily retrieve a memory about a full moon and a crazy night, and so they incorrectly assume that the two events are related.
I would like to finish with talking to you about how to fix your misguided thinking. We make illusionary correlations in many areas of our lives, and sometimes it negatively impacts either us or other people around us. For example, one real life example is you see someone of a particular ethnic or racial background getting arrested. So you assume all people with that background are more likely to be involved in crime. You never hear about the 99% of people who don't get arrested because it is a non event. Most of us are unaware of how our selective memory of events influences the beliefs we carry around with us on a daily basis. We are incredibly poor at remembering things that do not happen. If we don't see it, we assume it has no impact or rarely happens. If you understand how an illusionary correlation occurs and use strategies like the contingency table test mentioned earlier, you can review the hidden assumptions you didn't even know you had and correct the misguided thinking that plagues our everyday lives.
Thanks everyone for
Thank you.
listening, and that's it for our video today.